welcome to the Pueblo Passion Podcast. I am Ben Cason, here with two extremely special guests here in the studio today. Once again, we have Dr. Timothy Mottet, the president of CSU Pueblo, along with his spouse, Rick Gonzalez. Guys, thank you so much for making the time to come in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Thanks. I'm glad. That tells me we did a good job with the last one, that you wanted to come back, so it's good.
I just like being in your space.
Me too.
It's good space.
Absolutely. So this series has been kind of put together. We're getting the people in Pueblo that are trying to make Pueblo better and getting kind of a view of why Pueblo is special to them and why it's worth investing in. You guys have an interesting perspective. Obviously, both of you not from around here. You moved here and have taken a very public position as, leading the CSU Pueblo University system. So can you talk me through kind of what's that transition been like coming into Pueblo?
You want to take that, or
I'll let you do it.
Okay. We've moved a lot. So we've been in and out of communities, and we're tired of moving. So we're wanting to stay put. And so this transition was really like the others. You kind of go through. I guess there was nothing out of the ordinary in terms of a transition of moving here. We'd done our homework. We knew a lot about Pueblo before we got here, so it's exceeded my expectations.
And also another note, back in the 1950s, late 60s, my dad, he used to live in La Junta in Rocky Ford.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a migrant farm worker picking cantaloupes. Mm-hmm. And I just remember my dad talking about Colorado. And, he never brought us to Colorado. I'm a proud migrant farm worker, work in Texas, California, and New York. But for some reason, my dad never brought us here. And when I told him that we were moving to Colorado, and he said, "Where are you moving to?" I said, "Pueblo." And right away, he remembered Pueblo. He used to party in Pueblo, and he remembered the steel mills and all the factories. And he said, "Yeah, we would go back to Rocky Ford and La Junta." But that kind of inspired me. Like I told Tim, you know what, let's move here because my dad used to live here.
Yeah. Awesome. So what was the allure of it then whenever you were looking into Pueblo, besides maybe even the university? What was special about it?
Well, I think Rick found the job. So I wasn't necessarily looking, and Rick found this job and saw Pueblo, Colorado. And then he told me this story about his dad, that this was a place that you also said that this was a place that treated your dad well.
He did. He said that Pueblo people were very strong and very kind, and they help out each other. And I figure that because when we moved here 4 years ago, moving from Maryville, Missouri, we moved to Pueblo, and our 18-wheeler caught on fire in Colby, Kansas. And I just remember we moved into
with all of your stuff in it?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh. So we moved into our new home. And that day, Tim received a phone call from our moving truck and said, "There's been an accident." And we're like, okay, maybe it flipped over, a flat tire, no big deal. But when Tim said, "Rick, it caught on fire," the whole 18-wheeler caught on fire. We lost everything. There was 3 other homes in there.
Wow.
So we were devastated, and we didn't know of anyone. But when the Pueblo found out that our truck caught on fire, and I get very emotional because the people, they came to our house and dropped off items at our doorstep.
Yeah,
we had pots and pans and clothes and socks and Mr. Penguin, Matt Smith, and Adam Sanchez reached out to us. He said, "Guys, come on over. We have suits to give you." And we were touched by that. Pueblo people are so kind and strong, and they help out each other, and they helped us.
So can you guys speak to what is the role of CSU Pueblo within the Pueblo community? What have you seen between the connection between the community and the university?
Yeah, we're working to build that connection. And we're doing that through the Vision 2028 process. So we've received some funding from our board of governors to create a program that we're calling the CSU Pueblo Works program. And a CSU Pueblo student most of them work in order to afford college. And I think in the past we viewed their work as a challenge, something that the university had to work around in order to accommodate. And we've learned that we need to not work around that, but we need to integrate their work into their education. And we need to make that a part of their educational experience. So with some funding from the system, in addition to our being, we applied to be an experimental site for the Department of Education, where they're allowing us to move some work study dollars off the campus and into the community. So eventually our plan, once we get beyond COVID, is to establish an employment council of employers who have an interest in our embedding our students into their organizations where they work and where they get college credit for that work. They also get paid for that work, but where the university partners with the employer on the salary that the student will make. Yeah. Then in theory, what the monies that the student makes will then go to pay the invoice that they have for their college.
Gotcha.
And so it is it's a way to make sure that, and then in Pueblo is a community of workers. I mean, that's the strength of our community is based on a work ethic and a group of people who are not afraid to work. So we've learned a part of our DNA, a part of what we've inherited from the community is this value of work, and we're trying to make our students work for them. And so that will be a big part of what we're doing is the natural need for our students to work, but putting them into jobs that map to what they want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, you came in here and you talked about it last time, and you got me really, really excited about that idea.
Yeah. So that's one of the pieces that we're doing. There's there's others. I think it's important for a university is also we're a regional comprehensive university. We're embedded in a community, and a part of our job and our role and responsibility is to record and to transmit the culture of our community. And there's going to be ways for us to do that in an enhanced way moving forward as well. So it's recognizing who we are and making sure that history and that culture is practiced, recorded, transmitted, continued. And so that's also very exciting for many of us at the university.
That's awesome. So say, obviously the year that you guys have set is 2028. So say in 2028, what do you feel like is you guys' vision for Pueblo itself? And then where is CSU Pueblo's role going to be in that?
That's a great question. I think, so we came here because this is a great opportunity. And, I should also say that we've lived in places. So when we came here, I think we were a little bit surprised by how we heard people talk about their community. We were not prepared for that. And not everyone speaks favorably of the community.
Sure.
And, but we're coming from communities that are, it's all a matter of perspective and where you come from. We've spent time on the Rio in the border town of South Texas, a community that has its own challenges with the Mexican cartels and violence, and so we endured that, and then we moved to a small rural farming community in Missouri where you had really rural poor that we were part of. And so a lot of the communities that we've been in and out of are not your mainstream communities, but communities that have been challenged. But these are the communities that I really think we're attracted to in many ways. And but this one in particular has the potential and big potential. And so what I'd like to see by the year 2028 is a community that with a community of people who believe in their town, speak favorably of it, but one that attracts other people, is welcoming to outsiders. And I think it's also, I'd love for us to be perceived as a college town. There's a lot of communities, when students graduate, many of them leave, but a lot of students, if you've got a college town, people are attracted to college town, and seniors like to return to their college town as a possible place to retire. And so we've got 2 colleges in a town of our size, but I don't think we identify as a college as a college town. And I think there's recipes for what you have to do to be a college town. And I'd like for us just to give some thought to that recipe that's already been laid out, and how could we be a college town where people really want to be a part of the excitement of that community. And I think we're so close to making that happen.
Yeah. Dr. Mottet, you just talked about like feeling welcome when you come into the community being a big thing that you want to see. Rick, could you kind of speak to how was that like for you guys whenever you guys moved in here and take this job? Have you felt welcome from the community?
The first year, moving, there's always a challenge.
Sure.
The transition is always a challenge. It's not easy. Moving from South Texas, that's my home, the Rio Grande Valley. And, Tim living there, Tim was the minority. I wasn't. When Tim pulled me out of Texas, I was like, okay, I'm leaving Texas into Missouri. And I was a minority. And, that was tough. But the first year passed by, it gets easy. Moving to Pueblo, I told Tim, you know what, Tim, I said, I see my people. And I want to live in Pueblo. And because there's variety that you could do here in Pueblo. And so I'm not the minority. Tim is not the minority. So we're all in together as a people. But yeah, the first year was a challenge. I was just hiding in the back. People were reached out to me. Hey, Rick, get involved. I said, I just want to sit in the back, observe, and listen. And the year passed by. I was like, you know what? I am ready. And people started, bringing me into organizations, and I'm just happy for the people who reached out to me. And now I'm really involved in the community, and I'm proud of it. And I just make things happen with the help of Pueblo people.
Sure. So yeah, Rick, you just mentioned like you look around, there's a lot of diversity here in Pueblo. Can you guys both speak to how you want to see CSU Pueblo maybe mirror that?
Yeah, I think in many ways we do already. In terms of the demographic. We are a campus that I think looks like Pueblo in many ways. And I've also been. We have recently. Our accreditor was recently on our campus. And our accreditor talks to our alums and talks to our students to get their impressions of what's going on the campus. And I was very happy to hear that in Denver, some African American students perceive CSU Pueblo as their number one school, their choice, because it's a place where they fit in and feel comfortable. And that came out of a conversation with Denver students. And so I thought I was really excited to hear that. That's anecdotal, but I thought that was pretty revealing. So I think we want to work to we want to work on our enrollment, and so we are working to attract more students to our institution. And I think where the city goes with its reputation and its bold vision will help the university and vice versa.
Sure.
Our job is to help promote the city, and so we're very much about being Pueblo proud and associating ourselves with Pueblo and really doing a better job of elevating both. And you mentioned earlier about in the year 2028, what I'd like to see is a lot of our graduates leave, or they graduate and they're looking to. I think a lot of them would like to stay here, but they're looking for places. Where can I work? Where can I make a contribution? What I would hope for Pueblo is that we can diversify the economic development of our region. I think we do a very good job on the manufacturing front, and I'd like to see us diversify. Take that strength on the manufacturing, but also develop a knowledge economy where you develop industries around the types of students that the university is producing. So the question I often ask is, where do our biologists go? Where do our chemists go? Where do our technology folks go when they graduate? Where do the computer science, the cybersecurity, the media professionals, the creative artist? So there is a need for us to diversify the bandwidth of the economic development of our region. And I'd love to have those conversations and to help us do that between now and 2028. Yeah, because we have a number of students who leave us and go elsewhere.
Sure.
And that's I'd rather keep them in place.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's really wise to say, because I think that's a lot of experiences that people have had. Like specifically, that was my experience, right? Whenever you come out of college from media, it's not that we're told that you got to get out of Pueblo, but right, it's like there's not a lot of media opportunity in Pueblo if you're not talking like traditional newspaper.
Right.
But, this has come up out of nowhere because things have going up. And I think you're seeing like for example, here at Wake Up Pueblo, I think the stat was like almost 90% of us have been to CSU Pueblo at some point or graduated. Obviously I'm a graduate, but I think you were starting to see that. So, and I'm loving that.
I just think there's and then, we often talk about the STEM professional, but at the university, we've got a large group of students who are not the STEM. They are the humanities base. It's your English majors, your anthropology, your sociology, your psychologists, your communication. Yeah. This is a group that is ready to do something big and bold. But they need an environment in which to create that level of work and those levels of service moving forward. And so that's a group that I often think about as well, as where do we put the artists and the folks who are just different than the STEM professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had Todd Kelly on here a few weeks ago, and he was talking a lot about the CSU Pueblo Foundation and that side of CSU Pueblo and the great things happening there. Can you kind of speak to how do you feel that CSU Pueblo has gotten support from the community? Mm-hmm. Can you talk to me a little bit about that relationship?
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, it's a philanthropic community that has supported our foundation. So when we take a look at the financial success of what our foundation is able to do with our students and to help students with their scholarships, all of that is made possible through the philanthropic community of Pueblo. So first and foremost, it is the amount of support. Then I think second of all would be the athletic support. It's amazing the community members who are on our campus and helping build the culture of our campus by engaging through all athletic activities.
Yeah.
And I have to also say, go ahead.
But also, we have learned that having these events in Pueblo, like the Chili for Holy Fest, that's my favorite. The state fair, and then also we have the Pueblo Gay Pride. So that kind of helps our students and our university, CSU Pueblo, get stronger in that in promoting.
Yeah, you're right. Those are events that we like to be a part of. And I don't know, we look forward to all of that, engaging with the community that way. I was thinking the other way that the community has supported us, this is through being a Hispanic serving institution. Our ballet folklorico groups whenever there is that kind of event on our campus, I'm always amazed at the number of people who show up for that event. And so that shows me the need that we have on our campus and in our community for those types of events that celebrate the Hispanic heritage of our region and the university's role in doing that. But whenever we offer those events, they're attended. There's a lot of interest in that, so that's exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you guys obviously both very passionate about Vision 2028 and everything coming up at the university. Like kind of the big tagline of that is the People's University of the Southwest. And so I've heard you talk about like you feel like Pueblo is the gateway to the Southwest.
I do.
Can you kind of speak to me about that?
Well, that's something that I've learned. So I didn't know that about Pueblo, but the longer you're here and you learn about the borderland and you learn about the Arkansas River, the significance of the river, the significance of our city being a part of it being in Mexico at one part, and at one point in our history. I mean, all of that is, as you learn that causes you to really pause and. I don't know. For me, it's caused me to really kind of step back and take another look, because that is so important to us. And I think the city, in many ways, identifies heavily with that. And in many ways, I think our identity in Pueblo is really connected to the Southwest and connected to the borderlands concept. And so if we were not to recognize that, I think we would not be recognizing our place. And we are a regional comprehensive university. And first and foremost, that is embedded in a community and recognizing place and history. And then you build on that. So I think that's a big part of our future.
Absolutely.
But also, back to the events, having, the Fiesta Parade, I mean, that's full of colors. That brings more the tradition of the Mexican and the Americans, and it's just all full of colors. And, Tim and I, we always enjoy.
We're attracted to colors and and festivals and
walking, especially walking, greeting people and meeting new people. And
the parades are, when we got here, the parades, we have never been in a community before with the parades, and then the amount of people who show up.
Yeah.
And for festivals and the amount of people who show up. So, they've told me that Pueblo shows up, but they do. I mean, it's big. We go, 4th of July, wherever we go, there's just a lot of people. The community shows up. And, one other thing I just need to mention, we've been in a lot of communities that have a lot of bold ideas and they never come to fruition. Pueblo has a bold idea. They said, let's build a river walk, and it happened. So this is when they say they're going to do something, it happens. Where other communities that we've been a part of, these are dreams that people talk about forever, and there's never it never quite happens. And so when we got here and we learned about the community, and then I asked myself, how did this river walk ever happen here?
Yeah,
because that had to be a significant set of decisions that had to be made and supported by a community. And other communities that we've been a part of, we were just thinking, I don't know if that would have ever happened, but it happened here. And so that to me that illustrates what we are about. And that excites me. That does excite me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Can you guys speak? We talked about this last time, Dr. Mottet, when you were on here, but I still want to talk about it. Like, I feel like CSU Pueblo, not only does it appeal nationwide, it's a very cool place. And worldwide, you have a lot of people coming to CSU Pueblo, but also I feel like a lot of Puebloans who've grown up and gone through, D60 or D70 end up coming to CSU Pueblo and getting their education here and staying in town. Can you kind of speak to me how CSU Pueblo appeals to these students that stay in town?
Yeah, I think it's we're a university where we want more of our local students to come to our university. Yeah. And I talked one day to a young man. I was at the boys club, the Boys and Girls Club, and a young man mentioned to me that he wanted to go to college at CSU Pueblo, but his mom and dad wanted him to get out of Pueblo. And I said, well, tell me a little bit more about that. And I said, if you come to CSU Pueblo, I'll get you out of Pueblo. You can take an internship in Washington, D.C. You can study in Europe. You can go to our campus in Todos Santos. You can take trips to New York. These are things that we can help you do and create these experiences for you to get you where you need to go.
Sure.
And that resonated with him. But I think a lot of people think that they need to go elsewhere to get a good education. The grass is greener on the other side. And I'm here to tell you that I've been to a lot of campuses, and what we offer our students for the value of what their investment and the return on that investment. I am committed to. I feel very comfortable saying that experience, you're not going to beat that any place else in the state of Colorado. So we would love to have more of our local population go to college. But a part of that is creating a college-going culture because a lot of our students are first generation, and so we've got to help them go to college. Sometimes we forget. We know how to go to college, but to a family thinking about a son or daughter going to college here, it's sometimes we don't always make it as easy as welcoming as maybe we should.
Sure.
So I'm mindful of that. There's always ways to improve that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rick, can you maybe speak to, I think Pueblo itself, a lot of places, especially in Colorado, kind of dog on Pueblo. It's kind of like, oh, you're from Pueblo, like that kind of thing. Yeah. But now that you guys have both gotten integrated in the community, can you kind of speak to what is special about Pueblo? What sets it apart from what people think is Pueblo?
You know, when Tim mentioned about people from Pueblo, they you know, they're hard on Pueblo. And when I hear,
we don't know why, we're still asking ourselves, why is that?
You know, and when I hear about people talking about Pueblo, I defend Pueblo because this is my home, and I'm proud to be from Pueblo. And when I go out or when I have friends going on live on Facebook, I always put in Pueblo, Colorado, hello from Pueblo, Colorado, because I am proud to be from Pueblo. And
I think Rick does some remarkable work with volunteering at an animal shelter, and I think that is kind of a typical. I don't know. I think it's a special place you want to talk about.
So I volunteer at SoCo Spay and Neuter, an adoption clinic in Pueblo, and I volunteer there Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, 10 o'clock till 4:30, sometimes 5 o'clock, and this is all volunteer work, and I write stories of cats, do fundraising, and I know fundraising is hard to do, and I try to adopt these cats out of Pueblo, and because I want our cats to be in Pueblo. I'll get one or two. I drive up to Colorado Springs. I even drive up to Denver, but I kind of want our cats to be here in Pueblo. I don't know why. I guess because I'm just attached to these cats, and I just don't want them to go outside of Pueblo. But
I think it's also
but the support that people have in Pueblo. I write something up on Facebook, and what do I see? People supporting SoCo Spay and Neuter, and you know that's very touching for me because I mean whatever I write, they're there for us, and they're there for me. And I said earlier, you know, Pueblo, it's a special place because people from Pueblo, they help out. It doesn't matter what bind you are, but they do help you out wherever they can.
And our neighbor the other day.
Our neighbor, she adopted 2 cats from SoCo a year ago, and yesterday she came by and donated bowls of cat food and cat treats and cat toys, but
they do that regularly. So we have people in our community who drop off things that Rick takes to the shelter, which is pretty nice.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
But and then I started this SoCo Buddy program, and you know this is my baby. I started this in Maryville, Missouri, at the Humane Society, and it took off. And it's a little bit about the SoCo Buddy program is, you know, our cats or dogs, they are in need of medical care with foods, toys. And so I just promote the Buddy program, and it's $20 a month. And this goes towards their care. And but I mean, you'd be surprised how many people from Pueblo, they participate in this Buddy program. And so I get messages from Facebook. It's like, hey, send me the email, send me the documents. So I send them the documents, and sure enough, they do the whole year, you know, of the this Buddy program. I even have friends in Texas and Boston that participate in this Buddy program. You know, but you know, $20 a month, it goes a long way for our shelter animals. And some of our cats are diabetic, and they are leukemia. They need special food. So $20, I know is $20, but for them it goes a long ways. Yeah. And so again, people from Pueblo, you know, they are so strong on this, and whatever we need, they'll reach out to SoCo. It's like, what do you guys need? And we'll say, oh, we need blankets. Oh, we need dog food. We need cat food. We need litter. It's just they're there in the doorstep.
So how can Puebloans connect with you to get involved in that program?
It's on the website.
Yes, on the website. It's on the SoCo website, or also on my website. It's very easy to find. Just go into the SoCo Spay and Neuter, and there's a picture of the album of all the SoCo Spay and Neuter of all the people who sponsor these shelter animals.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing to see both of you guys investing into Pueblo in those different ways. I think my last question for you would be, why do you think Pueblo as a community is worth investing in?
That's a great question. I would consider it to be investment grade quality. And I say that because for some very fundamental reasons. You got clean air, you got sunshine and good water just to start with. You got vistas that are out of this world that we still look at and go like, holy cow, that's beautiful. So that's for starters, and not all communities have that. Then you look at the cost of living, and I still think the value for what you get here, for what you pay for it, is very much in check, and the return on that investment, I think, is great. And then I think we got an infrastructure set up, ready and poised for growth, whether it's housing, whether it is for businesses. I think we've got an infrastructure in place and ready to go. And the other thing I like about, I think this is also true about our school systems. Being an educator, not all communities have the choice we have here. So we've got public education, we've got online, we've got charter schools, we've got a variety of different types of K through 12 options for a family coming in. They can choose of what kind of an educational experience they want for their sons and daughters. And then going to college, you've got a town with 2 colleges. So you've got a Pueblo Community College and you've got a 4-year university who is working and sensitive to workforce development and talent development. So those are the reasons. That would be my pitch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Rick, maybe on your end, can you speak to why is it worth it for you to be doing the work you do in the community? What's special about the community?
It's about the people, how well they engage with you, and they will allow you to come in with ideas. And this is what brought my attention that, when I started volunteering at Circle Spay and Neuter, and also I'm in the board of directors for the foundation for Parkview. I bring ideas in, and they love ideas. And when at the beginning when people say, "Oh, you're an outsider," but as an outsider, I have a lot of ideas.
Sure.
But about the community, I mean, they let me share ideas, and they love my ideas, and they may work, they may not work, but I mean, that's okay. But
it feels good to be in a place where we've talked about this. We're in the right place at the right time for where we are in our lives. You don't always find a good fit with job, community, life, and we have a good fit, and that hasn't always been the case.
But I've told Tim that I think we are in a good place here, and I just don't want to leave. And I think Pueblo, it's a home where we could live here. I don't know about long term, because I want to go back to Texas, but Texas is my home in the Rio Grande Valley. But right now I want to think about now and just enjoy it. And I love the weather. I mean, you get 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah.
And living in the Midwest, I mean, I loved it, but it was brutal during the winter. It's here. It's like it snows, and the next day it's gone, which I love.
That's awesome, for sure. Awesome. Hey, thank you guys so much for coming in. I really, really appreciate it. I think Pueblo as a community is definitely better that you guys are here. Both of you, the way you invest in the community, it's incredible to see from my chair. So thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So just kind of a quick plug for both of them. You can go check out csupueblo.edu, get up to date on everything going on there, as well as you can apply there if you want to get into the university. It's really good. I went through it just already, so I can give you a little bit of I can vouch for it. It's awesome. As well as you can give that way going through CSU-Pueblo.edu, as well as check out SoCo Spay and Neuter to catch up on more of what Rick's doing and be able to connect with that program he was just talking about. Anything else you guys want to plug? Anything else going on that we wanted to tell people about?
We launched our we launched our semester, and I'm excited for the spring semester, but I'm probably more excited for the upcoming fall semester when I'm hoping we can return to the campus and have and do all the things that we do. So
absolutely,
but we're gonna do our best this semester and get through this pandemic.
Yep, and then I just miss hugs.
Yeah, we miss socializing with people.
Yeah,
I tell people from Pueblos like, oh, I miss the hugs, and when I see them at King Super, Albertsons, or Target, the mall, it's like, oh, I just want to hug you guys, But I respect that, but that's one thing I miss, hugs,
and we miss happy hour at the Thunder Zone.
There we go.
Don't wait.
Yeah,
we miss that. We're just going down there.
Hey, we're getting through it though. We're almost there.
We are.
We're on the upswing.
We are on the upswing. We are. Thank you, Ben.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys. And thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the Pueblo Passion Podcast. Please go check out our previous podcast, as well as check out our episode coming out next week with Dr. Erzsébet from Pueblo Community College. You don't want to miss that one. She's the president there as well. The education system here in Pueblo doing some amazing things. Thank you guys so much for coming in, and have a great rest of your day.